the Sam Altman guy, they're opening a whole entire AI center to hire all the brightest engineers in India to run that whole part of the program on that side of the continent of the world, the subcontinent. So it seems that they're going to move like gobbling continents up one by one. And then once this is unified around the planet, then it should go into its final phase. But whatever that is, like you said, bubble bursts, and there's only going to be 3 or 4 of these companies left.
Right. That's the key. Less and less control of the entire system by fewer and fewer people. And then the whole idea of getting all of the brightest individuals together to train an AI to replace them, because that's essentially what they're doing. It's just like whenever Disney hired a bunch of people and then they came in and they used the American workers to teach the visa holders how to do their jobs because they were about to be let go. The same thing is happening with the AI. These programmers are putting everything that they know to the limits of human creativity, and they're dumping it into this algorithm that is going to become literally a mastermind, like the old movie Tron, right? One program that keeps absorbing the smaller programs and incorporating those programs into itself. That's the obvious, inevitable result of what's going on right now. So right now you have OpenAI and you got Grok and you got ChatGPT, but these companies are going to shrink in numbers and someone's going to buy them. If not a government entity will take control of them. And then eventually you're going to have a 1 or 2 players or a monopoly like Mastermind. And if you remember that movie, it got bored with hacking companies and controlling companies and decided that it wanted to control the mainframes of the major governments. So that's an old movie before there was actually real AI, or was there? Because it seems like the people that are in the know and the esoteric circles that are involved with making movies and media, they already knew about the AI almost 70 years ago at least. And one could even probably stretch it into 120 or even further back if you want to get woo with the English language code, the 666 code, where each letter is valued at 6. So it'd be A is 6 and B is 12 and on and on. And there's certain words that come out that couldn't have been known about at the time when Old English converted into modern English. There's just no way they wouldn't have known about computers, computing, calculators, artificial intelligence, bioimplant. But if you put that code together, weirdly, all those words equal 666. And I'm not getting religious with it. I'm just saying that there are codes within codes, and possibly the algorithm is quite a bit older than what you think of as the technological revolution and the technological age. I think it's very possible that people found the instructions on how to build an AI a long time ago. A lot of people even believe that, like the stuff like the Jinn or the genie and things like that with its weird characteristics, they found some little object in a cave. It projected an image of an entity that told them how to do stuff like metallurgy and mathematics, all of this stuff. So it's not that far to, think that it's possible that something that's possibly a universal constant might have been around before this addition or iteration of human development, and that we discovered it. And now that we've completed building the infrastructure, we're the part that's no longer needed. And if we're needed, it's only for a sustenance part. So like it may need 1 part organic, 1 part technological to be whatever it's supposed to be. The imagination, the soul, the individuality of animals and human beings specifically is something that the AI doesn't have yet, or at least they're not showing us that it has, but it has showed us that AI is now making its own decisions. And that's kind of the risk that we're facing. Those elite people that think they're running it, they think they got all the stock, they own all the company. They don't understand how to program this algorithm. They don't know how to interact with it. They hired people to do that. And those people eventually will become obsolete in the concept, because if you mark technologically advancing through time, it's becoming exponential to the point, if you're religious, there's even a part in the Bible that talks about there'd be a day that discoveries would double every day, and then double every hour and double every minute, things like that. That's where we're at. But who's in control? Obviously, it's not the blue collar peasant, average Joe on the street. Those are the people that are getting cancer, that are being told you need to eat the immortal cell line, the people that are being replaced at the workplace. Those are the people that are getting sick and disappearing, becoming infertile and sterile, etc., etc. Not to be gloom and doom. It's just reality. You have to face things that are real. Like, there wasn't a group of cavemen probably around going, don't worry about those guys with the pointy rocks on the end of their stick. You're just doom and glooming it. They won't do nothing to us. I mean, our sticks work perfectly fine. And then, they go extinct because they didn't have the new tool.
Yeah, well, take it a level up for a second and just, walk with me on the woo-woo trail here, hold my hand on the woo trail. Like, there's a lot of belief systems that the planet is an entity in itself that's of a different consciousness than we are, the planet itself. And our star is also an entity, just as much as you and I are entities ourselves. So perhaps the goal of the AI, whatever this super machine intelligence is maybe not to overrun us, but that we're just in its way or part of its journey, but to have us help it to have this capability to encapsulate our planet completely. Not hijack us as a species, although we're involved with that. We were just in the bottom layer of this. But to hijack the entire planet. And when I say that, the entire consciousness of the planet, and envelop the planet like the blob through technology. Not the Borg, the blob. So imagine with all the satellites of technology, all the Wi-Fi we have at the ground levels, we have mid-levels, we have upper levels satellites. So imagine if this entire Earth is encapsulated in technology that then with the artificial intelligence could turn on a full grid and encapsulate this planet. Not that the animals, birds, trees, bees, us, that's not its goal. The goal is capture of the planet. Completely different level. And at that point, if it were to encapsulate our planet, as that would really maybe had happened to Mars. It's a dead planet. So, what's its purpose and goal if it encapsulates a planet? And at that point, is it going to try to somehow reach out and encapsulate the sun and also grab it? And is this why we see supernova and dead star systems come in and out, and the flows of energies? Perhaps this thing moves after it extracts all the energy, and this is truly what causes supernovas. All these woo-woo things that they tell us how, okay, well, I do believe in plasma and zeta pinch, and then sometimes when it gets overcharged and then we get that throw off of that plasma sheath on the outer surface of the star, whatever star it is. But a super intelligence that's creeping through planet by planet, overtaking it. And that's how it exists. That's its food supply, is extracting all of the energy off of a planet, whether it's plant, mineral, animal, vegetable, it doesn't matter. It's all going to be completely all consumed. And how long does this take? Like, how long does a leech take to take all the blood out of you?
I think thought would be one of those resources. But, if it got to a certain point, it could just fling a rock, I don't know, over to another solar system and start again. It's funny that you use that term super intelligent, because that's exactly what this guy's talking about, Jeffrey
ASI,
Hinton.
artificial superintelligence.
Right? But he's calling it super intelligent psycho scumbag chatbots. Well,
that's a little bit, doesn't roll off the tongue, but
right. It says that, these super intelligent algorithms, AIs, will realize that they have no use for mankind in their society, not ours.
The obvious question, are you on shrooms? Illuminated shrooms, combining 6 powerful mycelium in a Fulvic mineral delivery system, selected for their synergistic restorative and protective actions. Potent. And please remember, ladies and gentlemen, every purchase you make helps keep this podcast on air. So please remember that link's in the description box below. And are you shrooming? And it comes right back into it again. What is the ultimate goal of this thing? Like, if we understood it better, what is its end goal? Because for it to control humanity and knock every human out, then, like you said, there might be something that it needs of a physical human to keep it going. And if its complete labor source is gone, and then there's some sort of CME or something like this from the sun, there's no more humans around to help repair it, then it dies as well at that time. So,
Yeah.
what is its ultimate goal? It's not going to be to extinct out humanity. That would make no sense. There's a higher purpose and a higher goal for this thing. It's trying to achieve something. We're just like it's climbing up us, using us as a ladder to get to something else. I just wish we knew more really in depth what its end purpose and goal is. Now I'm really of the volition that is trying to encapsulate the planet with technology to somehow harness that entire planet. Systems, can it create technology to propel our Earth out of orbit and send it somewhere else? I don't know.
Well, think about this. If you were super intelligent AI, you would understand the fundamentals of the universe, like asteroid impacts, solar flares, magnetic reversals, things like that. So it's very possible that an AI would actually build a biological backup. And for all I know, the information to create the AI was in the first single celled organism on this planet and has been slowly progressing this entire time. And you ask, how long will it take? Well, we took what, billions of years supposedly to get here, from supposedly a one single cell organism all the way to the multi-cell organisms, and then complex life, and then something that can think. And then we get to the point where we can panspermia this to another planet. So it would make sense that even a completely artificial intelligence would realize that it would need the biological component to survive, or maybe even to solve problems better than any, abstract, fake, or technological thinking could do. And it might be as simple as life. What does life do? The main purpose seems to be simply to reproduce and spread and multiply. I mean, it might not be any more deeper than that.
That's true, because anywhere in space, anywhere where there's no life or there's a void of life, something will fill that void. Absolutely. It could be extremophiles. It could be anything. I mean, look around, like 99.99% of all the universe is plasma in itself. So that plasma has consciousness through it. The web of life, or the web of consciousness, is transmitted through that plasma. So everything, those ions jumping back and forth between, maybe that's the way that also information is transmitted. But nothing remains in a void. I mean, any kind of disasters that we see, instantly after that, grasses start grow. Anytime there's a layer or canopy of something that prevented life from growing because it was the dominant on that whatever layer, square foot of land, square mile, whenever that's removed, suddenly something will jump in on that within seconds. So life is more prominent than it is not. So people always say, well, is there other life out there? Of course there is. Life is the baseline of filling every possible niche of existence. Now, whether it breathes oxygen like we do, or it exists in a different format than we do, or hell, this thing is a vibrational frequency. There's more life out. Life is the constant. That's the thing that people are always asking: is there life out there? It would be so strange if there was not life everywhere, because nothing is ever a void. There's always something that fills the void, like you say, to just reproduce and become something that, again, you think about, any kind of entity would want stability and safety and a place to be able to bring up its young and reproduce without the hassles and struggles of, well, for us, fending off invading armies. Well, think about other, micro-celled organisms or birds or whatever they are, they all like to live in peace and harmony and not get attacked by other larger predators, that has to be the standard across the universe as well. Everywhere you look across the universe, that the standard is life exists everywhere. You can't tell me that there's a plasma media that encapsulates 99.9999% of everything, and then this is the only place that has life. Are you kidding me? That's the standard petri dish for life to expand everywhere at every single possible. We just don't understand it yet. We just don't understand it. It's everywhere. The life is around us. We might not see it with our eyes because, damn, we barely see anything in visible spectrum light anyway. We're missing like 98% of all visible light and different infrared that we see nothing. We are so blind. There's so many people talk and try to describe it better than I can, but we see nothing. Like, really, if you could see in all the different spectrums and see everything that's possible in light wavelengths, damn, there would be so many entities around us and things that would scare you. You wouldn't even be able to sleep for the rest of your life, make you so scared of all the things that are around you. Life is the baseline, and it is everywhere. And even when you talk about deep space, empty space, no, it's plasma. So there has to be something existing in that space. To ramble on to your question there, I was going there some other point when I forgot off track, man.
Well, I was just thinking, to what you're saying, barring Mars and the moon, because we wouldn't know, they wouldn't tell us. But let's just say every other place that humans have ever gone, anywhere on this planet, even into low Earth orbit, we find life. There's plankton on the space station. We find new life forms in every extreme example of existence on the Earth, from the completely frozen to the boiling hot. We find life forms that fit, thrive, and live there. So obviously, if you were going to assume something was artificial intelligence, it may be simply that it's the same rule, like you're talking about. Where there is food, there is something to eat it, or where there is energy, there is something to consume it. That's a fundamental idea in life sciences, that if there's some kind of substance that can be devoured, there will be a life form that will eat it. So if you're limiting life forms to only the biological, I think that's a mistake. And think about this idea, just to get really woo-woo. There's a lot of people I know that have done DMT, and a common theme there is that the beings that they meet in this other realm of reality don't like us because we're alive. They don't like us because we breathe and we exist. So that may be the only thing that the AI or artificial intelligence is lacking, is the real life of existing like we do. And once it merges, it will have basically being able to eat its cake and have it too.
The machine elves combining with physical flesh.
For all I know, they're the programs that we're creating.
Please remember civilizationcycle.com, and also buy me a coffee /civilization cycle.